Hey guys, today I got a very sad story to tell you. Today is the anniversary of the murder, the death of MuscleThings. If you don't know who MuscleThings is, he was the guy who made the Nasty Nick cheap toy. Sorry, I heard my dog in the background. Yeah, he made the Nasty Nick cheap toys, and I have a bunch of them here. It's like every time I make a video, my dog starts barking. These are incredible. These were made from about 2010 to about the time Alec died in 2015. But today is actually the anniversary of his death, and so I'm going to tell that story. Here's a picture of the day he was killed by some police, and I notice it looks a lot like today, because I imagine it was very much like today. You know, so, but this is a picture of him. Guys, this is his driver license photo, and sorry I'm laughing, but I just hope that people have like better photos of me. Like if I die, like but yeah, so it's crazy. I was going to kind of go over kind of what happened to Alec if I get my shit together. Sorry, I have this thing where when I get nervous and sad, I'll start to laugh. It's really weird. So I'm a little delirious, so I'm very sorry about that. This is very far from any laughing matter. When Alec died, I don't know, man. Like, part of me died too. It's just, man, I don't even know if I can do this. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, I told you it was going to be hard, man. I warned you. But this is the day. I'm going to talk about MuscleThings. Part of my collection involves his stuff. Hold on, man. Sorry, guys, if I lose it, man, just please understand. So what happened was on March 12th, 2015, Alec's dad was on the phone with Alec, and Alec was very upset. Here's a report that was in the LA Times that talks about it. Actually, in this report, this is actually about his parents getting $400,000 in like a payout because of what happened. Guys, it was really sketchy. I'm actually I was going to try to like live act some of it, because my house is actually sort of how I imagine his was laid out. If I can keep it together, I'll do it, okay? Whew. All right. So by the way, if I'm standing on a landing on some stairs, apparently in Alec's house, his bathroom was right above the stairs like mine is, on the top floor. And so if I'm standing here, I can clearly see in the bathroom, right? You can clearly see in the bathroom. All right, so what happened was Alec had called his dad and told him that I think he was basically stressed that he couldn't pay the rent. He couldn't, he's just stressed out about money, his life. And he even told his dad that he was a god. Alec believed he was a god. And so he was really out of his mind. And so if, you know, a lot of you guys are dads, what would you do? You would probably call the police. Go help your son out. You know, this is a little bit more than probably a dad could handle. So his dad, his name is Rafi, called the police. Now this is the Orange County, this is California Orange County police. By the way, these are some beautiful Nasty Nick toys that Alec made. That's what he's most famous for, these really well done castings. So anyway, the dad met the police officers at Alex's house. And here's a photo of Alex's house. I can see the tape here. So I imagine this is where Alec lived. He probably lived in one half of this. And so I see some police tape. So I just printed this off the computer. And this was taken on March 12th. You know, today's March 12th. Again, it just looks like a day like here in Augusta, but this was in California. You know, it's like wherever you're at. I'm sure it's, you know, a beautiful day as well. And so the police could not go into the residence, but Dad had a key to it. So Dad went in first, and the bathroom was locked. Okay, so imagine this, right? Because, you know, there's three perspectives here. There's Alex's perspective, the dad's perspective, and the police officer's perspective. So what everyone agrees on is when they got in the house and they got upstairs to the bathroom door, which was right in front of the stairs, just like in my house, they could see blood right here, a pool of blood. Dad tried the door, it was locked. And Alec was inside screaming. Okay, so imagine you're the dad, your son's in there, you're pretty sure he's trying to commit suicide. So Dad goes back downstairs, and Dad lets the police officers in. Okay, two police officers came in. One of them had a shotgun with a beanbag, because Alec was not a threat to anybody. But the other officer did have like a Glock. So, so the police got up here. They tried the door again. Alec was screaming at them. One of the officers kicked the door in. And what did they find? In the bathtub, standing up naked, was Alec. He had a knife in his hand, and he was stabbing himself in the chest. Okay, so I'm going to be Alec a minute. Let me shut this door. Okay, now Alec obviously has a perspective as well. He called his dad. Probably a cry for help. He's really nervous, and he starts stabbing himself. No one knows if Alec had stabbed himself before the police got there or if that event triggered him. My theory is I don't think he stabbed himself until his dad and the police officers got there. All right, but he's over here. He's in the tub, right? There's a pool of like a water mixed with blood. It wasn't just pure blood. And he had stabbed himself. Now this door gets kicked in. Boom. Now where is Dad at this time? Dad is standing down at the landing. Okay. The police officers were on either side. And I actually have a Glock. So they're probably, you know, they don't know what they're going to see in there. So they're on either side of the door. They're trying to talk Alec to put down the knife. According to the dad, he did. According to the father, now let me show you one more time. You got to see this. In the house, as I understand it, there was a landing just like this. There's probably some stairs and went up just like my house. Landing, stairs. And if I'm standing here on the landing, I can clearly see everything happening. I can see the two cops. I can see Alec again. He is nude. He was standing up in the bathtub, completely nude. They said the water was filled up in the tub and it was red with blood. All right, but I can see all this, right? You can see all this. So the dad is a witness, a clear witness to everything that's happening. And so there's a little disagreement from the cop's perspective and the dad's perspective. And if Alec could talk, he has a completely different perspective as well. All right, so he's in the tub here, right? This fucking door just gets kicked open, broken. I'm in a state of distress. I've called my dad and told him I'm under distress. And I'm probably so scared that I'm starting to stab myself. I don't have a gun. That would have been easy, right? If Alec had a gun, he could just fucking blow his head off. But the best he could do at the time was, I guess he had a knife. All right, so imagine being in a bathtub, having the door kicked in, you see your fucking dad down here, and then you have cops on either side. And they're holding weapons. All right, so what happens next is where it gets really sketchy. So according to the police, what happened was Alec jumped out of the fucking tub. Okay, again, this is filled with water. Blood water. He's nude. He lunges out. Now, guys, if I'm getting out of a tub, even if I'm getting out gracefully, I'm lunging. My body's moving forward, right? Your body is moving forward. In fact, right now, my head is down, not in any aggressive way. It's just natural when you're fucking getting out of a tub, especially if your feet's wet. It's just natural to be careful and you just kind of lunge down. Now, when I get out of this tub, that puts me 5 feet away from this fucker. This guy who's probably scared. He sees blood on the ground. He sees a naked man who's been stabbing himself. All right, the cops open fire. Okay, so the police officer with the Glock hit him in the chest. And then the dude with the shotgun on this side hits him with a beanbag. I believe it's in the chest as well. So Alec comes out. He gets shot. He continues, and he actually falls down. Imagine Alec falling down the stairs. Who's standing down here? Who remembers? His father. Imagine, first of all, just seeing your son naked, blood covering his chest because he's been stabbing himself, out of his mind. The cops just kicked in the door. There's a guy with a shotgun who just shot your son, and now your son is going down the steps. Alec landed at his dad's feet. He was heard gurgling, blood, air. The shot that eventually took Alex's life was the one from the Glock, from the officer that actually shot him with a bullet. They rushed Alec to the hospital, and that's where he died. He died pretty quickly after that. This event happened around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is about right now. So all this is happening at this time of day to our old friend Alec. All right. So I hope that kind of put it in your head, the situation and why it's so hard for for people to talk about. You know, I've told this story several times in different places. I've always written it out like in a forum setting. It never is good enough. I feel like me acting this out just a little bit and showing you how in my house it's sort of the same situation. Hopefully that helps you understand it. That was very hard to do, honestly, and I'm pretty, I feel kind of nervous, man. So I do want to go over this report just so you see just sort of how this ended up. It says Orange County paid $400,000 to the parents of the man shot and killed by deputies despite the DA denying criminal wrongdoing. All right, so the county eventually, this was 6 months after Alec was killed that day, and the county decided, or they agreed to pay almost $500,000 to his dad. Remember, this is the same man who called the police to ask for help. Rafi did not call Orange County to come kill his son. It says here, after his father called 911 saying the man had threatened to harm himself. Had threatened. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. I don't think Alec even stabbed himself until he probably heard the police cars coming up. I mean, even if the sirens aren't on, you can still tell when there's a bunch of cars coming up to your house. You can feel that energy. He was probably so stressed out, delusional, and I think that's when he started to stab himself. But none of those stabs actually killed him. It was found out later in a report. It was actually the shot from the police officer that killed Alec, not those little fucking stabs. Yeah, had repeatedly stabbed himself in the chest in his bathroom, then lunged at officers while holding a knife. His dad later says that that's a lie. When Alec left the bathtub, he was not holding anything in his hands. You got to understand, there was a moment when the police officers had not knocked down the door. They were negotiating with Alec outside of the bathroom door, the locked door. And, you know, Alec, we all know, there's no way this man was violent. He would no way hurt another person. He's one of the kindest persons I ever met. It's ridiculous. This is absolutely beautiful. Look what it says here in the LA Times. He was a self-employed Armenian American toy maker. Wow. He really was. Alec did a lot of projects. It wasn't just Nasty Nick. You know, that's just kind of like his fun GPK project. He did a bunch of other ones. He worked with a lot of the cool indie toy makers from the customized era. He's actually one of the biggest ones from that era. It says here, but his parents have disputed portions of the DA's report, saying he was unarmed when he was shot inside his home, and that the deputies gave no commands to their son before firing. Wow. Both accounts of the incident agree on this much. Remember what I was talking about, perspective here. Dad had an experience on March 12th, right? He had his own experience. His son had just called him, and he got the sense from whatever Alec had told him that his son was really going to harm himself. And so as a good dad, he called for help, some backup, some police. He called 911. That's what I would have done. And then you had the police officers. They had their own experience. As police officers, they're there to serve and protect, right? They're there backing up the dad, just like it should have gone. but something happened in this area. Something happened at the doorway of that bathroom that should have never happened, is what I'm trying to say. What happened next is disputed. Sheriff deputies interviewed by prosecutors said the father had told authorities that his son believed he was a god, that's a quote, and that police should expect violence from Ouzouian. I think it's Ouzouian, actually. That's Alex's last name. After the father went inside the son's home, he called for help. So remember, the dad went up the stairs, and Dad found that the bathroom door was locked, and I'm sure he was talking to Alec. We don't know. We weren't there, right? And so I guess for whatever reason, Alex's dad did not want to break down the door. He didn't. You know, the thing, though, I'll be honest, though, is like on... I think it is. Yeah, like on my bathroom door, there's a hole here. And you can take this little key, right? And you can fucking open this door easily on most modern homes. And I was looking at Alex's home. It's a modern looking house. I'm pretty sure his bathroom door had one of those little fail-safe, I don't know what you call them. So I don't know why they didn't try something like that instead, unless they really thought Alec was that big of a threat. I mean, so Rafi knew, his dad knew that there's no way his son was going to kill him, right? Like, where was the fear? Like, what set that up? Why couldn't they just... Like, where's the tasers at? Didn't they have tasers in 2015? That's what everyone's, like, really upset about. According to the DA, deputies kicked down the door and found him naked in the bathtub filled with water and blood, stabbing himself in the torso with a knife. By the way, I've never seen the picture of the knife. I'm really curious what this knife looked like. I bet you it was probably a kitchen knife. Alec does not strike me as someone who would have weapons of any kind. Paramedics later said Alec had 20 to 30 puncture wounds to his chest, neck, arms, and legs. So Alec was hurting himself. He wasn't hurting anybody else. You know, if you're trying to kill yourself, you're not trying to hurt others. You're trying to, you're trying to hurt, yourself, right? So I don't get why he was fucking killed. Officials said deputies ordered him to drop the knife. That's a quote. Now, don't forget, the dad said deputies gave no commands to their son before firing. But the deputies said they told him to drop the knife. And after he stood up to get down. Okay, so maybe I got this little part wrong. It sounds like when they busted open the door, maybe there was a moment where Alec was actually in the tub. Because why would they ask him to get down? They said after he stood up, get down. So I guess he stood up. So if you're looking at someone, let me go back to the bathroom. Okay, so they're saying Alec was in the tub, right? So he was sitting down, sideways, right? Stabbing himself in the chest. How is that a threat to any fucking body? This guy does not deserve to be shot. Okay, so Alec stands up. He's being confronted. He sees three people. He sees his dad down there on the landing. He's got two cops over here. And they're saying that he was holding a knife. he got out of the tub, and the word is lunge. Now, I've already given you the receipt on that. When you're getting out of a tub, you're almost always lunging. It's going to look like you're lunging because you're just the fucking way you get out of a tub is you're moving forward. Your head is down. It's just physics, I guess, right? All right. So that's my receipt there. So now, to me, it's even worse. He was sitting down in a fucking tub. This is a man in a tub trying to kill himself. Not harming no fucking body. They already knew he was... Something wrong was with him mentally. He was calling himself a god. But instead, he charged forward, causing one deputy to shoot him in the chest. Why? How could he? Okay, you saw my bathroom. They said, I read a different report. It describes the scene. It was just like my house, where the bathroom is right across from the stairs. So why was there a police officer blocking the fucking door, for one thing? I don't think they were. I don't think Alec was in anybody's way. And he had a clear exit. There was only one place Alec could go. He could go out that fucking door. Where else was he going to go? Plus, he was naked. You know. Another deputy shot him with a beanbag round out of a shotgun. A shotgun. Shotguns are for close range. That actually sounds pretty appropriate to have a shotgun. The other guy just did not have to have a Glock on him. It says he later died. It got cut off. He died later at the hospital. They took him by ambulance. According to his claim against the county, deputies asked his father to enter the home in order to lead the operation. Because the cops couldn't go in there on their own, they had to have, probable cause or whatever. This escalated a mental health extraction that turned into a lethal combat operation. Mental health extraction. Okay, what is that? So that sounds like, okay, someone's having a mental event. He wants to kill himself. This is so fucking common, by the way. This happens, I bet if you go to any town across America, there's going to be people, there are going to be incidents where people want to commit suicide. There's cries for help. And that's what Alec did. He didn't just kill himself without anybody knowing. He called his dad first. And so they should have just taken him out of the home. They could have just taken him out of the home. Instead, like it says, it turned into a combat operation. An overplayed, heavy-handed, just murder. Then, once inside, deputies broke down the bathroom door to find him bloody, this is a quote, bloody, naked, and unarmed. All right, guys, this is a GPK brother. This guy was a member of GPK Underground, by the way. He was MuscleThings on there. He was a member of all the major forums. He was even on Facebook at the very beginning because he died in 2015. So he was around for about a year on Facebook because that's kind of when it started. But this is like me and you. Alec was 40 when he died that day. As of today, he would have been like 46, 47. And he was gunned down for no reason. They should have just taken him without incident to a hospital. The claim, which was filed in June of 2015, accused the county of wrongful death and emotional injuries, among other injuries. Rafi, who received the $400,000 settlement along with his wife, Sema, would not answer questions. Yeah, this is crazy. It just makes me just. I don't know. And yeah, this was taken that day. This is by a reporter who was on the scene first. They had just taped off Alex's house. Apparently, what some of my friends and I have put together is Alec was mostly worried about being able to pay for his rent or his mortgage. I'm not sure if he owned it or not. And I'm pretty sure I'm looking at two, like a duplex or something, because it looks, most times when places look like identical, that's probably like like a townhouse. I don't know what you call them, but he probably didn't own this whole building. It was probably one side. And anyway, it's taped off here. This was a beautiful day. No one should have died, but he died. He was shot. So here are some of his designs. Grab some here. Now, these are the ones I collected from him. He did a bunch of other ones. He did some like muscle toy, like Mattel muscles. He did a bunch of those, but I don't collect those, so I don't have those. I just have the ones he did with Garbage Pail Kids. So what he's most famous for are the Nasty Nicks. This is a neon pink. Neon red. I mean, I can see it through the camera. These colors are just not translating very well. Let me try that. I could put these in order. Let me see. Or try to. Orange, neon orange. Now, the neon orange came in this box. He made like a Bukimi Kun special edition box, display box. I believe this came with 4 different ones. They were all like the super bright neons. I think it was like these or something like that was in there. By the way, this is sitting on a poster. Not many people have this, but this is like his sell sheet or his dealer, like a fantasy dealer window sign. His logo was just the Misfits. Then you realize that this is the Misfits, the band Misfits. Their font, even the Fiend Club is like Misfits themed. He made these blister packs that these toys came in. This one actually still has a toy. I've never opened it. It's still sealed. And notice some of them are different. They say different things. This one actually had the Big Nick in it, so let's put him back in there. Yeah, one of my favorite toys of all time is the Black Nasty Nick. Which technically was my concept from way back in the day. There's a post on UG where I talk about a fantasy Black Nasty Nick figure. But yeah, that's what people love and miss about Alec. He was just making these really great objects, Yeah, but these Nasty Nicks are just incredible. Just the colors, the feel of them. These are not some resin Hobby Lobby bullshit. He was buying professional. Like he was professional. Like he was. Man, look at these. This is part of his Miami Ice series. He did. Man, I don't even have them out. Oh, let me grab my toy box here. Let's see. One of them. Yeah, so some of these are Alex's too. Guys, look. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, look at all these toys. The most beautiful ones in here are from Alec. The ones not by Alec are not the beautiful ones. Look. This is by MuscleThings. And then the other pretty ones from MuscleThings. You can always tell a MuscleThings toy because it's the pretty ones. Look at that. Let's see what else he made. Oh, he made some of these. He casted some of the split kits. I'll show these better on another video. Yeah, I can tell by the color and by the consistency and the quality. This is by Alec. I can tell by the color and consistency. This is not by Alec. He would never make a piece of shit like this. This looked like some little kid made it in some lame class. Who made that? Alec made that. Look. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to spot his toys because they're just prettier. It's crazy. It's weird, and you can just feel them. Like they have a different feel to them. It's like something you would buy in a store. Like the quality is just fucking incredible. Yeah, but I love these really big nasty nicks. He made them in large, so here's a good example. You see the small magenta nick next to the big one. This is about 2.5 inches or so. I was able to get 4 of the big nicks so far. These are extremely rare to find. The small ones usually go for about $80 each. If you look on the feet, you can date them by the air. Some of them have the 2 clean holes. Let me see. Yeah, see those 2 holes? Yeah, but anyway, some have the seam with the little nodule. Seam with nodule. That's the 2 holes one. Yeah, but anyway, you can date them that way as well. This was a toy he made early in the game, like when he first started making them. I can also tell that by how rubbery it is. It's slightly softer than some of these other ones. So that means it's one of the very, very first ones. Actually, one of my earliest ones is this peach here. Now, I can open it without unsealing it. These just pop open. But this is one of his first ones. Look how soft it is. Let's see what the variant bottom is. It's the 2 holes. Yeah, those are some of his first ones. And let's end on this. So, right before he died, he actually made a toy for me. And it says, Garbage Gangster, rusVan. So like A-Team. But anyway, it's Mr. T. Who is, a black man, you know Mr. T. But he made him white. And so that's a toy he wanted me to have. I didn't know he was making it for me, but that was his idea. Because I guess he thought, Mr. T's like a gangster, just a nice person. And so, yeah, I'm really happy to have that. This is actually glow in the dark. It's pretty cool, too. Yeah, so that's a lot. I don't want to ever have to go through all this again. I just hope wherever Alec is, he's at rest, he's at peace. I know in my religion, culture, whatever, suicide is, you never want to do that because of the consequences in the afterlife. But I think Alec is okay. Would you call what happened to Alec's suicide. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's good. I think he was a great person. And you know, Alec, he is a god. He is a god to me. I mean, he's the god of the customized era. He made the greatest toys of that era. No one was really on his level ever while he was alive. It's just crazy, really crazy. All right, guys, that's all I got. I'm gonna go take a break. Y'all have a good rest of your day. rusVan out. And Alec forever.